Well, on the first side, most people did these. A few little issues. One is you can't put parentheses there because that's for strings. Arrays have just a length variable, not a length method. Array lists, of course, have the size method, right? The other issue is bigger. Right here, you need to put, in general, we want to see matrix R, the bracket R there. So, in other words, this works on any kind of matrix, or really any kind of two-dimensional array, I should say it that way. Even a jagged array. Usually if you say matrix, we really mean like a rectangular matrix, okay? But the fact is, the intent was that this works on any kind of two-dimensional array. So I'm saying you should have R there. And actually, before I go any further, as far as variables go, I like using R and C, or row and column. If you want to use X and Y, I would prefer that you put Y here, because the rows are, you go down vertically on the rows, and the X should go across. The fact is, whatever you put for the outer loop is what you put for the first thing here. Whatever you put for the inner loop was the second thing here. It works. I gave you full credit. All right. So I'm just talking about you should use a good naming system though there. Now back to this. So once again, for a jagged array, this will work every time. So this is the preferred way to work on any kind of two-dimensional array. I had some people do this. They put a 0 there. That will work, but only on a rectangular array, in other words, where every row has the same length. And sometimes that's what it's given to you, and then it's fine. So on the AP test, pay attention to that. If it says it's a rectangular matrix, then fine, you can use this code. Then some people let this off entirely. This can still work, but only on a square matrix. And so that's bad here, though, because once again, you want to use it for the most general sense. Now, one more thing I want to mention once again is the variable names. Here, the matrix was referred to as mat, and it's your parameter that you're working with here. And so all through here, you had to use that variable name, mat. On the other side, let me just blow this up now. On the other side, it was totally different setup. You have an instance variable called the matrix. And so if you put mat in here, that wasn't right, technically, because that wasn't the variable name you're supposed to use. And also the parameters that you're given here, you have to use those. So some people use something other than old val and new val. You can't do that. Any variable you create, you can choose your own good name for, but whatever is given, you must use those variable names, okay? And then obviously right here, if you do this, you need to use this to compare what's already in the matrix at that spot, see if it equals old val, but then if to store new val, use the assignment operator. So get that detail correct as well. One more thing. If you're trying to change what the array stores, you cannot use an enhanced for loop to do that. So this would not have worked. This does work. You have an enhanced for loop to go through every row, but then, like through all the rows, but then to go through all the columns of that row, or all the spots of the row, it's a normal for loop. This would actually work. Although, frankly, if you don't want to memorize something new, just do the standard two-dimensional array. Now, that was the replace all. The swap method, biggest thing is knowing what to put here, the variable type, okay? And so here, let's just go through the example again. First of all, what does the matrix store in this case? It stores 3 references to 3 one-dimensional arrays, right? And so that's why your reference type needs to be a one-dimensional array of ints, because that's what mat0 stores and mat1 stores. And so some people just put int there. That's not correct. Oh, by the way, once again, whatever your parameters were, that's what you had to use here. And for some people, that didn't match, and you just can't do that. Okay. Listen, one little detail I want to be clear about here is, look, you have 3 one-dimensional arrays in existence. Yes. And so after the first line of code stores a reference to that first. This one. At that point, the reference to this array, the 12, 1, 38, 94, is stored both in the matrix at spot 0 and in this variable temp. Okay? And then after this line of code, now the reference to the 12, 1, 38 is not stored in the array anymore, but it's still stored in temp. So it disappears. And then what does this do? It stores what mat1 was storing. And so, listen, I show it this way. But once again, there's only 3 one-dimensional arrays stored. In other words, you see it duplicated, but in reality, there's one array stored somewhere. I mean, it exists somewhere. And it's just that the reference to the 13, 15, 19 array is at spot 0 and spot 1 of the matrix. So I'm saying it would appear twice, but in reality it's just one array. And then, once again, finally this swaps. It makes mat1 store what was originally the first row. And so when you're done, mat1 is now storing, the second row is now what was first row. Alright, and there we go. Hold on, let me, now see, I did it again.